Welcome. We just centered with a little drink.
I
And
like that background.
that's a really cool background. Yep.
Yeah, I want to be where he is.
I know. Like I want the background. I'm so jealous.
That's where we're going, ladies. Yep.
Mhm.
So, okay. So we talked about we're going to go through this roadmap, and it's it's the first stage is to acknowledge fear. Now, some of us might not even realize we have any fear, that we don't lack confidence. And that might be very much true. But lots of times we are also so used to living, our life and dealing with the toxic environment around us that it's become a normal. And so we don't actually realize that that our confidence levels could be a lot lower than we think. So we're going to go through an assessment um, to help you see for yourself whether you're have some confidence levels that need to be brought up or if you're good. But before that, it's the next step is, to understand the roots. So how do these toxic environments actually affect us? And it affects us in a way that it can make us feel unworthy and strip us away from our inner knowing of what we know to be true for us. It can actually make us question what we think we know, where we want verification from others, and really question our abilities and feel not good enough. And there's probably times in everybody's life that we feel not good enough. Especially like if you're raising kids or are in different relationships that are very rocky, or I mean, just being a teenager, you feel not good enough in many ways. So there's lots of life, life has a beautiful way of showing us how we feel. And I'm here to tell you that you are very capable, you are very worthy, you are very deserving, and you deserve to have the life that you want to live to the fullest. And this is where I'm hoping that you're going to get a piece of that feeling by the end of tonight. So I keep looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I cover everything. So how does confidence play into this whole thing? Well, it empowers you and it helps you stand up for yourself. So if you're rock solid confident and feel unstoppable, you don't question, you're not asking other people for their opinions. You are feeling so determined and it's not even a thought. You're just like doing. You just things come up, yes, no. If there's some research that needs to be done, you automatically know that before you make a decision, but your decisions are much more clearer and you trust them. So it's more of a like the confidence, the higher your confidence level, the higher your own trust level ends up being, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's a great feeling. So, okay, this whole thing is a journey, and it does take consistent action in order to get to the mastery part of having full confidence. So do not be discouraged if tomorrow you wake up and it's like, oh, what happened? I felt fantastic last night and now I'm back here again. And our brains are like a computer, and we develop habits, and that's embedded into us, and it takes, consistent effort to change the habit, and then that ends up being our new norm. And it doesn't have to take as long as you may think. You can actually change things quite quickly. And with a supportive group, that's, I highly suggest that, because that's what actually worked for me the best. You end up accountable. I mean, even just, studying an exercise program. That's why most people go to gyms, because it keeps you accountable. And so you're going to change that. If you're going to quit smoking or quit an addiction, a lot of people go into support groups, or, do set yourself up in ways where you're not going to fail. You're going to, actually make that happen for yourself. So, okay, take a moment and close your eyes. I want to bring you on a little imaginary trip. So I want you to imagine a life where you're not just wishing you could be secure enough to do what you've wanted since you were young, but actually feeling confident and secure enough to no longer have your past dictate your future. A life where you've broken free from toxic environments and built a happier, more fulfilling life for yourself. This transformation is not just possible, it's achievable. And I have the privilege of sharing some real-life success stories with you today. My first success story that I want to share with you is I did a private session with the chiropractor. His name is Richard, and he's in his late 50s. And he shared with me that he was raised by a narcissistic mother. And she blamed him for everything that was not okay in her life, which was basically everything. And made it very clear that she did not like him and was quite the bully to him. Didn't show him much love, if any at all. Well, he shared with me that every single time he opens up the refrigerator and now this is in his late 50s. And he's from New York City. Every time he opens up the refrigerator, all he can hear is his mom's voice echoing in his head, saying all those terrible things that was just ingrained in him, totally beating him up. Imagine every time going to your refrigerator and your mother's voice is booming in your head saying how much you're no good and beating yourself up for every little thing. So we did a private session, and I want to read to you the text he sent me. Sorry for the delay. Okay. He said, "My issues with my mother have definitely improved. I'm able to access the feelings and sentiments from the session on my own now, if necessary. But honestly, I believe I'm at peace with it all. Thanks again so much for your help." Now, that is huge. That was huge for him. And the way this whole roadmap goes is you get educated. So like he said, he's able to access what I shared with him. I taught him what he could do. And that makes my day. Like when I hear something like that, oh my gosh, that's huge, huge transition. Now I have two more that I want to share with you. And one is a very dear friend of mine who was in a family of three siblings, and she had an older sister, has an older sister, and she's in her 50s, and she was bullied mentally and physically by her older sister to the point of it really renting tons of space in her head. That when she was in her 50s, this was still affecting her on a big level, really distraught about it. Mainly because her sister would not even admit that she did anything. She wouldn't even say she was sorry. As far as she was concerned, nothing ever happened. So we did a private session, and she is able she was able to get to the point of total acceptance for her sister. I think this is so beautiful. Total acceptance for her sister, total forgiveness, where she can now talk to her and have no resentments. She just accepts her sister for who she is not affected by her whatsoever, can actually talk with her on the phone and just be fine with it all. And so that shows, like, it's not necessarily the person that was the bully that changes at all. It's letting go of how it affected you. And that's what we're going to get to with a letting go process that I'm going to bring you through. The other one I want to share with you real quick is my friend Margie. Margie is a mother of three. She's divorced. Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. And she was beating herself up in the head so badly, like she could not stop. She would wake up every morning. As far as she was concerned, there was nothing she could do right. And she was constantly beating herself up in the head. Constant. And she started getting sicker and sicker. She ended up with fibromyalgia, and she was in pretty rough shape. And I shared with her what I was doing. And she's one that just likes to do things by herself. And she really, paid attention to everything and started doing the things on her own. And I'll never forget getting the message from her saying, "Oh my God, I woke up this morning with no judgy mind." For Margie, that was one of the biggest breakthroughs of her life. From constant beating yourself up to actually waking up with peace in the head. And so, yeah, those were three. So if everybody I shared with you can have those transformations, you can too. No matter what's happening in your life, there's always a